And you really have the risk of this whole thing falling apart because if the Trump administration decides, okay, we're just going to walk away and let the Ukrainians and Europeans settle their business with the Russians themselves, I don't think it's going to work out very well for Ukraine, particularly if the United States starts withholding some of the aid, especially like intelligence sharing. They withhold intelligence sharing, the whole project, implodes because everybody, Europe and Ukraine, NATO, they all count on the United States to provide the intelligence, to provide coordinates, everything is networked with our assistance. And so if we withdraw that and we walk away, I think things could look really bad for Ukraine, which obviously puts Russia in the catbird seat, which they already are. But it gives them obviously more leverage. And who knows? Maybe Russia won't want to end the war at that point. Maybe they'll want to take more. So this is serious business.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree with you there, Kelly. It seems like basically since the start of this war, the Ukrainian leverage has only continued to trickle and get smaller and smaller and smaller. And they go so far as to cast aside the Americans because the Europeans are saying that we're going to support you. You know, the Americans may not be in it for as long as it takes anymore, but we are. You know, the amount of support the Europeans could give, it doesn't seem very large. You know, they're making a big deal out of $2 billion they took from interest off of frozen Russian assets that they're giving to Ukraine. But this is a drop in the bucket compared to what the US has given Ukraine over the past 3 years. So thinking that Europe is going to be able to replace the American support is very foolish. And once the Americans are disengaged, then Putin may decide that, you know, I will force the collapse of the Ukrainian military and then I will dictate my terms to Zelensky.
Right.
It's not going to be a discussion where Ukraine gets to say, well, you know, you don't control all of Zaporizhia. So we're going to keep the parts there we control. You could have the Donbass, but we're going to,
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
may not be in that position anymore.